So let me tell you what happened. One day, I was in the subway, chilling, minding my own business, okay? Doing my own thing, talking with my friend on the phone, and then all of a sudden, when I stopped talking to her, I looked up and everybody was just looking at me like staring.
Bombastic side-eye.
In pure disappointment, like looking so down on me, and I'm like, oh my god, what's happening here? Like, are people this mean here? Like, what's going on? Only to find out that I have committed two abominations, a double homicide. One, I was sitting on the pink chair. You do not want to sit on that pink chair. And two, I was talking loudly on the phone. That's like double homicide. Those are things you do not do here. And I had to find that out real fast and grow up real fast, okay? Because I committed two abominations, not one, but two at the same damn time. And I'm telling you this so you do not have to make the same mistakes that I did and commit two abominations at once. Here are your tips, 10 things that you should stay away from or try not to do when you're here in Korea as a foreigner to have a splendid time. Let's get into it.
Let's go. Yeah, my vision is fruition. Like on a genie, I've been wishing. Ain't no time for competition unless it's oh me, then we're beef only.
Hey guys, it's Bella Lynn. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, my name is Bella and I'm a South Korean based content creator. And today I'm here with 10 things you shouldn't do as a foreigner or when you're visiting South Korea. Okay? And if you like videos like this, please leave a comment, leave a shout out, and if it has helped you, let me know down in the comments. Now, let's get into it. So, number one, public transport etiquette. Like, I've already touched on that. The time I was sitting in the subway, making a noise, laughing, giggling with my girl on the phone, sitting on the pink seat, that is a no-go, okay? So the pink seat basically is a seat for pregnant women or something like that. And then there's other seats at the end for elderly people. Try to avoid those seats as much as possible. Unless you're like really dead tired and like huge high heels. But I try to avoid them as much as possible. But I mean, these days it's not really that offensive because I think they can understand that you're a foreigner. But the Koreans are very big on respect, so try to respect the policy that the pink seats, which are like at the side of every subway, are reserved for pregnant women. Like sometimes I'll be in the subway, I'm dying, especially when I was in school. I have my school bag, I just want to sit, man. And like people are standing, the subway is full, people are hugging on each other. Okay, but the pink seat is available, and I'm like, how many pregnant women are we gonna see today? Like the pink seat, and it's so like, come on, come sit. But I just try to avoid it. But I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when I just can't, when I'm super duper tired, I make that mistake. But please try to stay away from sitting on the pink seat. And also in public transport, try not to talk as much. Because try not to talk on the phone. Actually, there are some buses that when you go inside, there actually is a sign, and it's usually in Korean, but it says don't talk on the phone in the bus. And that's something I used to do a lot until my friends told me that it was wrong, and until I got the stare down when I was in the subway, and I asked my friends, what's wrong with me? Like, why were people? And she was like, what were you doing in the subway, huh? What were you doing? And I told her, and she's like, girl, you just committed a double homicide. You don't do that. And I'm like, oh, so that's why. So try to text or like, do something silently on the phone. Try to save your phone calls for later. If somebody's calling you, you can pick up and say, I'll call you back. I'm in the subway or I'm in the public transport. And then just call them back later because it's a little frowned upon over here, okay? So it's like people here, they really value respect and they really value like their quiet time and their privacy. So if you're like all up in their faces, having a loud conversation, it's kind of disrespectful. It's kind of disrespectful, so try to stay away from that. Number two is personal space. Like try to have as much personal space as possible. Listen, Koreans love their personal space, and I mean the only place they don't is rush hour 6 a.m. in the subway, because then you'll be like plastered on each other, like, a fishing net with fish. That's how it is. 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. in the subway, that's the only place where personal space does not matter. But other than that, I think, like, for example, when I first came, I've always been a hugger. I am such a hugger. Like when I meet somebody, I'm like, oh, hi, especially when I meet somebody new or just friends. I just always hug. But I had to learn that it can be a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. So just stick to like nodding or saying hi. Like when you meet someone new, with your friends, it's okay because they're your friends and it's all fine. But when you meet someone new, try to avoid hugging, if that makes sense. But just like with the last point, I think there will be understanding because they know that you're a foreigner and then it's new for you. They will hug you back. You'll be like, awkwardly. But I think just as a heads up, just like if you meet somebody new, be like, hi or something like that. And not like, oh, hey, which is what I used to be. And it kind of was off-putting to some people. I had a friend tell me that it was a little bit off-putting. So yeah, just like, personal space. And number 3, dress code. So a lot of people that I've seen like on the internet, they really want to come to Korea because of like the fashion and how it's super cool and super trendy and stuff. But I feel like as somebody who's been living here for 5 years, I honestly feel like that's a bit overrated what's on the internet. Like it's not necessarily true because Koreans really like, on a normal day, most Koreans are wearing like really basic stuff like black, white, gray, and then literally it's like copy paste of outfits everywhere. Unless you go to like maybe really trendy areas, maybe Hongdae or like Apgujeong, you'll see people's personal styles come out. But on a normal day, wherever you're walking, people are basically wearing the same colors and same things. And also to add on that, like shoulders for girls, like I never realized how much having your shoulders or your boobie area showing is like not a thing here. Like literally you can have someone in like literally shorts that look like panties and nobody's gonna turn an eye, but once their shoulders are showing, it's another kind of abomination. So that's one thing that when I came, I had to learn really quickly because in my country, cleavage it's all about cleavage. Like if you want to show your cleavage, nobody cares. But here it's kind of like, like too revealing. So as a pro tip for you, what I do is, because I still wear my shoulders out because that is my style and I still want to continue looking the way that I want to look, is that when I'm in the public, so when I'm going somewhere, I have like a little shirt on, when I'm using public transport, when I'm walking in the streets, just so I don't get stared up and down by everybody. And when I reach the place that I'm going to, when I reach the cafe and I want to take a little cute picture, I take it off and take my picture. But when you go in the subway, you put on those subway clothes. Pro tip, have a subway shirt. If you know you like dressing, all cute and stuff, pro tip, have a subway shirt. And let's go on to the next point. Number 4, shoes. For me, this was nothing new because in my house, when I was growing up, this was definitely a rule, but no shoes in the house. No shoes in the house. Korean houses actually have a place where you put off your shoes as you enter the house. So when you enter the house, it's not just like, oh, this is the house. No, there's like a little corner which is meant for you to put off your shoes and put on your house shoes. So everybody has house slippers or house shoes, or if you want, you can just be barefoot, but usually no shoes in the house. So your house, your rules. But I think if you are here, you're probably visiting and you're going to, see people, visit people. I think just always remind yourself that as soon as you get in, and I'm sure your friends will remind you too, you take off the shoes and you put on other shoes. For example, one time there was a party. My friend Anna had a party and I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna wear? I'm putting together outfits. I put this heel on and I'm like, I'm gonna wear this shoe. And she was like, yeah, but like, that's good and fine, but you're gonna take them off when you get here anyway. I'm like, so I had to go outside, get my picture, and then take off my shoes. So basically, yeah. Always remember that shoes come off as soon as you get in. Not just your house, but if it's like a photo studio, even if it's a party room, anything that's not like outdoorsy, you gotta wear some shoes, some slippers. And these places usually always have house slippers for you, so don't worry about that. And number 5, Do not make the mistake of only living in trendy areas. This is for when you're visiting or if you're gonna live here long term. Don't make the mistake of only living in like Itaewon, Myeongdong, Dongdaemun. Those are the common foreigner areas that people end up living at. Because first of all, those places are in the central of Seoul and they are pricey. And also, Seoul is not that big and the transport system is very, very convenient and efficient. So wherever you are staying in Seoul, you will get to wherever you want to go just fine. You don't have to stay in the central, which is much pricier, like almost double. Like we made the mistake when we first moved here to move to Itaewon. That's the first place we lived when we moved to Seoul, and that was highly expensive. And okay, fine, it was in the central, but also like there's not much of a difference if you want to go anywhere else. Seoul is pretty small and the transport is convenient. But when we moved to the northern parts of Seoul, which is where I currently live in now, I found it really awesome because the place is much better, way more space, more bedrooms. My kitchen is large, everything's nice, and it's like the same price that I was paying when I was living in Itaewon. Am I further from the central? Yeah, but it's like 20 minutes and I just take a bus or I take a subway. So I think a mistake is, especially if you're trying to move here, to not go to the more foreign friendly or whatever place just because it's what's on Google. I think do your research very well and ask people around you if you can, because there are a lot of places on the outskirts of Seoul that are way bigger, much better, and for the exact same price as Seoul. And also don't make the mistake of only going to, you know, Gangnam, Itaewon, Hongdae, Dongdaemun, and that's it. There are so many other places that you can visit here, so much tradition. For example, I live in the northern part and we have like a Hanok village and we have the Bukhansan mountain that you can hike up and see an amazing view, but usually people just go to the Namsan Tower because that's in the to the Namsan mountain because that's in the central. So I think really doing your research beforehand, and if you have a friend or an acquaintance that lives here, they can give you like, you know, the details on places to live and places to visit. And now for number 6. This is also about if you're visiting here, or yeah, basically if you're visiting here, because if you live here, I'm sure you know that, do not rely on Google Maps. I'm telling you, Google Maps will have you running around in circles. Google Maps does not work efficiently here. So if you are here, use Naver Map or Kakao Map, not Google Maps, because Google Maps, one time I used Google Maps, I don't even know where I ended up. I ended up somewhere I shouldn't have been, okay? So download Naver Maps, but I think Naver Maps is in Korean. Kakao Maps would work if you download that one. And there's a new subway app that I forgot the name. If I remember, I'll link it down. That is in English. Google Maps just does not help here. And that goes the same with driving too. Use the Kakao Map navigation or the Naver Map navigation rather than Google navigation. And to the next point. Oh, so this point is about etiquette. It's another etiquette point, and this is about giving and receiving. So when you're giving something, especially if it's to a person older than you, you have to give it with both hands. If you're giving a gift, or even if just somebody asks you for anything, if somebody who's older than you asks you for a pen, you have to give the pen with both hands. That is a sign of respect to older people. And as you know, in Korea, they're very high on respect to people that are older than you. Somebody could be a year older than you, and the whole way that you call them changes, okay? You don't call them your friend anymore. You call them onni, or you call them hyung, or you call them oppa. Like it's very on that point of being respectful to your elders. So whoever asks you when you're giving something, even like just filling out this can be like just filling out a form somewhere, give it with both hands as a show of respect, not just one hand. One hand seems like you're giving it to somebody who's younger than you, and also can seem quite disrespectful. The next point is giving gifts. So when you're giving gifts, don't give gifts in fours. That's crazy. Because Korea has something where they don't really like the number 4, and it has a close relation to death. So if you're in the elevator one time, you're gonna see 1, 2, 3, F, 5, 6, 7, because 4 has a close relation to death. And so anything 4 related, well, now it's changed because my apartment has a 4th floor. But yeah, so if you're giving gifts, don't give like a set in 4s. Try to give something in 3s because of that relation and connotation to death. Point number 8, trash management. So Korea is very strict on trash management. You have to recycle your trash. So usually you recycle your trash in plastic, paper, cans. You have to recycle your, especially if you're living here. You do not want to be shouted at by like your maintenance woman, or because they be on the lookout. They be lurking. I had my friend one time call me and she almost cried. She was like, oh my God, I was going to throw out their trash. And then the maintenance guy was just watching me. And then he saw what I did and he shouted at me for like an hour straight. Like they're very strict. And then also there are CCTVs everywhere. So you could actually get fined for it. Fined for not recycling your trash. So make sure that you have 3 trash bags ready for your paper, your cans, your plastic to go, and you can just like throw them in. There are like some dustbins that you can get for really cheap at Daiso, which is just like, you know, they have the compartments ready and you can just throw your trash in there. But always recycle your trash and save the planet. And I think we're on our last point. This was going to be a really quick video, and we do have somebody making construction, so I want to beat him to it. That's why I'm trying to hurry up, because you don't want to hear anyway. To the last point, things not to do in Korea. Number 10, the drinking culture. So if you come to Korea, you will definitely see that it is very heavy on drinking culture. People go out and drink, and there's always an occasion for people to drink together, whether you're friends, whether you work together. But there is a drinking culture that is associated to that, and it's also based on respect. For example, when you are taking a shot, or when you're drinking when you're taking a shot, or when you're taking a sip of your drink, it's not good to look the person in the eye. You have to look away, which is quite different from, you know, what we do in the West. It's like, if you don't look me in the eye, you know, it's 7 years of bad, you know what. But here you have to sort of like look away as a form of respect to the person. And also, don't pour your own drink. It's an occasion, and it's like you're supposed to be like serving each other, so let somebody else pour the drink for you. And usually if you are the youngest, you'll be the one pouring drinks for your friends, or just initiating the work to make sure that everything's set on the table, which also goes down to the respect point of view. Yeah, so basically the point of this video was just to highlight some, you know, social etiquette and some cultural misunderstandings that you might have if you come to Korea for the first time, and to give you a heads up on some of the reasons and things that you can do to avoid that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment below if you are in Korea, plan to come to Korea, like Korea, and any other videos about Korea that you think I should post. And please subscribe, leave a comment, and join the Bella Lynn tribe. And I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye!